President Trump and possible 2020 Democratic contender Beto O'Rourke throwing down over the border wall. The pair hosting dueling rallies in El Paso, Texas, and wasting little time going after each other. President Trump bashing Beto with these stinging attacks. And Beto O'Rourke responding by going hard left when criticizing President Trump's border wall.
We know that walls do not save lives. Walls end lives. We stand for America, and we stand against walls. We know that there is no bargain in which we can sacrifice some of our humanity to gain a little more security.
And here's President Trump laying into the Texan.
We were all challenged by a young man who lost an election to Ted Cruz. Hey, you're supposed to win in order to run. But a young man who's got very little going for himself, except he's got a great first name. He challenged us. So we have, let's say, 35,000 people tonight, and he has 200 people, 300 people.
As for the wall, congressional negotiators have reached a deal in principle to avoid a new government shutdown. The plan calls for $1.4 billion to build new border barriers, but falls short of the $5.7 billion the president's asking for. So will Trump support it? Here's what he's saying.
I never cared about construction. I love construction. And I know how to do it for the right price. Am I happy at first glance? I just got to see it. The answer is no, I'm not. I'm not happy. But am I happy with where we're going? I'm thrilled. But the wall's getting built. Regardless, doesn't matter.
All right, Juan, I confess I bought into the Beto hype. I thought he was the true believer. I thought he was a real superstar. I saw him last night. Kind of spastic gesticulations, kind of lightweight slogans, bad advance work. There was a band in the background, empty pair of drums. I don't get it. What's there to get?
Maybe he was speaking the truth.
Well, what truth was that, Juan?
Well, he said, what does a wall do? It actually harms people. It hasn't stopped the level of illegal immigration.
How did he say the wall harms people?
By separating families.
He said it sends them around to other places where they can't get through.
But anyway,
exactly.
It doesn't matter. I mean, to me, what matters here is that Trump just, even in the size of the crowd things, just tells lies. He says, oh, this guy has 500 people. Bloomberg said that Beto O'Rourke had like 10,000 to 15,000 people. Trump had, at most, according to the fire department, 6,500 inside and another few thousand outside.
I'm glad you mentioned that because we had our crack team at the 5 investigate and
they have crack?
We're keeping it away from you. We investigated and we talked to the Coliseum and the fire department and the police department, and they said there were 7,500 inside the Trump rally.
The place only holds 65.
That's not true. One holds up to 8,000 actually, and 6,000 to 10,000 outside. So that was double what Beto O'Rourke had. Because
how's that double 15?
Because he didn't have 15.
He did.
Because the fire department and the police department both didn't do official estimates, and these were the estimates from his own people.
You know what? You have such trouble with statistics. I'm going to leave it alone. But I will say this. I noticed that Donald Trump last night did not mention national emergency. And so I'm hopeful that today, with the deal that's been announced, we can finally move forward. I know that people like Ann Coulter making fun of the Green New Deal called Trump's new compromise here, the Yellow New Deal for Trump. The far right's never going to get off his butt when it comes to this deal. But I think for the best of America, hopefully Trump finally realizes enough with the lies and the distortion and the demonizing.
You know what the president did bring up were dogs, Greg. Let's listen to the tape.
Oh, I like this.
You do love your dogs, don't you? I wouldn't mind having one, honestly, but I don't have any time. I don't have time. How would I look walking a dog on the White House lawn? Feels a little phony to me. A lot of people say, oh, you should get a dog. Why? It's good politically. I said, look, that's not the relationship I have with my people. We want to have, Obama had a dog, you're right.
You love that.
I tell you why I love that, because he's doing all politicians or future politicians a huge favor. He's talking about the typical political cliches that seem phony. You don't have to get a dog. If you don't want a dog, you don't have to get a dog. Seems a bit phony to me. So he's basically saying, for the future, you don't need all this political theatrics that everybody has to bow to. That's why Liz Warren looked so bad when she tried to hold that beer in her kitchen, or when she tried to grab the kid. And even Beto last night, he sounds too earnest to be sincere, or vice versa. So what Trump is doing, Trump is opening the door for so many different types of people to become politicians because you don't have to play the same game. Can I just respond to the whole walls harm people thing?
Wait, before you do, can I jump in?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people like dogs, including
Yes.
Dana. I mean, I don't think she's
That's
a
not the
phony.
point. That's not the point. I'm talking about not being fake.
Yeah, he doesn't have time to pet an animal.
Well, yes,
Okay.
it takes a lot of
Busy
but
with executive time.
Trump is forcing. Somebody has to force this clarification on the Democratic Party because they're holding two competing ideas at once. You can't have a porous border and a country full of free things.
No, exactly.
Okay, those things they don't. You have to pick one. If you want your utopia of free things, then you got to have the greatest wall ever made because everybody in the world is going to come and get the free stuff.
Amen.
So, if you don't want a wall, then you got to be a country that offers zilch. That you come here, you get nothing. In fact, nobody gets anything because that in itself is a wall.
Yes, great, Gutfeld.
All right.
Preach it.
Thank you.
What do you think about the rallies and the deal in principle between the negotiators?
Everyone's upset with the deal, which I think is great. I love when people in Washington are unhappy because they're unpopular and they don't deserve my happiness. They also don't deserve my tax money. Let's go to Beto for a second. This is someone, I think he's precious garbage, and he drives me crazy. Here he is trying to do an impression of a cool band. He's trying to be a rock star.
Yeah.
You know, people painted this image of him and projected this aura that Beto O'Rourke is a rock star.
I don't think he's that good looking anyway. He's not.
He's trying to be mud honey.
Everyone's like comparing him to RFK. I don't think he's that handsome.
He doesn't have
he's
your
trying to be
hair.
mud honey.
No.
He's collective soul. Even worse, he's Nickelback.
Oh, wait a second.
That was a death blow right there.
That was not
I'm
nice.
sorry.
Morgan, take it from here.
I think it was a Beto bust last
Okay.
night. I mean, what's really funny about this Democrat primary is how much Trump likes to gin up every one of them, and he's taking a different one every day. I think no one's going to have more fun in this Democrat primary than President Trump. I think you mentioned yesterday that he was going to be live tweeting all of the debates. But listen, the bottom line of what it comes down to, this deal, this wall, whatever it's going to be, there's a couple of questions here. Can the president, can he take this $1.375 billion, build it on steel barriers anywhere he wants in the deal? So that's important.
You don't even know that. That's the problem.
So that's a question that has to be answered. And what about this 40,000 bed cap? That's something I don't understand the politics of that one. How is that a winning political argument that we want to have less detention beds for illegal immigrants coming in?
Force ICE to focus on violent criminals rather than breaking up families or bothering people who are just here contributing to the American economy.
Well, what if they haven't contributed yet? What if they just got caught crossing?
No, I mean,
That's what the beds are
this
for.
Is
That's why you
where
shut down
ICE
the
gets in
entitlement
trouble.
state. That's what Greg was saying. You shut down the entitlement state. It's one or the other. I'm fine having a bunch of people come in. I'm not fine giving people free stuff.
Right.
Back to you.
All right. And Nickelback called, and they're very upset they're being called.
Very
compared to Beto O'Rourke.
very successful band, Canadian.